Hello, welcome to Luna Midnight Designs. It's time again for the people's choice, and the people have spoken. LolliliePop as a dessert-themed doll is the winner! She's all ready to go with her face missing and eyes cut out and hair all gone. I could do the typical dessert theme with like Lolita and a bunch of ruffles and cutesy, but I have a different idea in mind. Evil laugh. So let's get started. So to begin, I'm cutting off her leg, just the section from her ankle to just below the molded drips on her shin. And on her other shin, I'm taking out a chunk of it, like it was bitten off. My idea is a zombie, but with candy. Yum! So her one leg will be bone with icing as the gore and rotting flesh. And the other is where she got bit and what turned her into the zombie. So let's saw off this doll's parts. Now, I want to keep the molded drips of the original doll, so I'm carefully cutting and carving and sanding the extra area away. This is what I have so far. And for the other leg, I just cut and sanded a hole and tried my best to make it look like a big bite mark, because she is candy, so someone took a bite out of her, which turned her into a zombie. Get it? Anyway, for her arm, I want it to look like it's barely holding on and falling off. So I'm gonna cut it off and glue a clear stick for strength so it's less noticeable. I also add epoxy because glue alone isn't enough to keep the stick on the arm stump. This changes later and you'll see why. I then add thinner wires to strengthen the connection and act as the flesh being torn. And I add more epoxy to the wires to strengthen the wires. But I'm not a fan of how thick it is, so I'm glad it has to change in the end. Now for the bone leg, I use a wooden stick and wire as the base to build the epoxy on to form the leg bones. Once it is dry and fully hard, I like the look of it, I glue the leg back onto the body. Now, since she is candy, her insides are cotton candy and sugar, so I'm gluing these puff balls to the inside of her bite to bring back the candy theme, and also to hide the inside of the leg. After, I use puffy paint to add the gore, but frosting and icing instead of blood and torn flesh. I give the same details to her arm and the drops on her other leg. Now I'm taking these strips of fabric to glue to the leg to act in a similar way as the wires of the arm. It is like the muscle and skin hanging from the bone from being rotten and torn, but frosting and icing in this case instead. All the gore that makes up the zombie is the candy for this doll. Now I'm going to cut her in half because I liked the idea of her body being see-through and her having a ribcage exposed. So here I am, cutting her in half. After that, I take a strong, thick wire and attach it to her lower half. This will be the base for the spine and the ribs, and also what holds the halves of the doll together. I use epoxy to strengthen the wire inside the lower half, and then slowly build the spine. I am not an expert. It may not be anatomically correct, but I am doing my best to give her a spine. And I really like how it turned out for my first time. For her ribs, I make a wire base to give the epoxy more strength and something to hold on to. I then cover the wire with clay, and wow, I am really happy with how this is looking. And now I add more clay to the bottom of the lower half to act as the pelvic bone sticking out. Now I add more puffs to the chest cavity and add epoxy glue to hold the wire to the chest. Snake around more epoxy clay to the seam of the upper half to the top rib. And then add more puffs to cover the bottom half. I then give the ribs and torso the same treatment as the leg, with puffy paint and fabric to create the gore and candy details. Now this is why I said the arm was gonna change, because it broke off. I was so sad. But it gives me a second try, because I didn't like the first one all that much. So taking stronger wire, I built her falling off torn up arm, and it also has similar steps to the first try, but better, and the gap between the arms is much longer. And with the arm fixed, the body mods are done. Time to zombify the face. Rough up one side of the face with sanding and making the eye hole bigger, making holes in the cheek and the forehead, just making sure it looks gory, but sugar and sweet things gore. I then give her a big tongue with epoxy clay. I want it sticking out because it looks like she's licking a lollipop. Or brains. I was gonna do teeth too, but I removed them. But I will give her a huge eye that is popping out of her head because I think it looks cool. And then she gets the puffy paint treatment. Gore, but not gore, because she's made out of sugar and candy. I do add some white frosting to the other half of the face and test out an eye idea for the other eye hole. And this is the face mobs. Looking good so far! Now this is my original idea for her outfit. Just want to show off all the mods the best way I can, plus still being a zombie and a cute candy girl. So I get started with the skirt. Now I had to make my own patterns and none of the sizing is right, so it was fun. I had this candy fabric that I thought would be perfect, but seeing the bigger picture, it is very, very busy. So I get to making the skirt. Liking it so far, adding a ribbon ruffle full of sprinkles and more frosting, and I don't like it anymore. But I'm like, hey, maybe some bloomers can save it. Nope. Okay, but her leg is gonna be an ice cream cone. Again, nope. So I went with a new idea, and thank you, Doll-Lightful. I took her cargo jean pattern and scaled it up. I also found this white jean fabric because frosting and white works better with the overall look and it doesn't distract from the colorful zombiness. So I make the pants and de-stress them in a way to better show off the legs. And then I use white puffy paint to add sprinkles to one side. I'm liking the way this is going. I do remove the pockets and give her a waistband. And then belt loops. And what are belt loops without belts? I'm kind of going for Y2K fashion, and once all the details for the pants are done, I love them and totally want my own pair. Now for the top. Damn, I'm still trying to make this candy fabric work. Well, it doesn't. So back to the white jean. I make this top and cut out a heart and de-stress the bottom. And add details and puffy paint, of course. minus a few details I add off camera, the outfit is done. So back to this weird face. I did spray with MSC matte, but don't worry, it will be glossy in the end again. I had no idea what to do for the face, but I started with blush and eyeshadow and went from there. I did have to use paint and not color pencils because the color pencils weren't pigmented enough and they were kind of scraping off the layers of MSC. I then paint in her zombie eye and give her eye makeup. Again, I'm kind of winging it with the face. I then add sprinkles to her one cheek and yeah. Weirdest face up ever. I had like no direction and no idea where I was going, but I went with it. Oh, and I take that same swirl charm from before and use it as her eye. I'll be using yarn to give her hair. I make the wefts and then I use eyeshadow to color them. After that, I straighten the wefts and curl them. I do the same with the color blue, yellow, and purple. Once all the wefts are colored, curled, and made, I glue them to her head. And with that, minus last few details like one shoe, she is done. And here is the final doll, my candy zombie. She is made of sugar, her hair is cotton candy, and her blood is sour, juicy drop pop. Her skin is bubblegum, and she is covered in frosting. But beware, for this candy bites back. Run, run for your lives, all the candy has turned into zombies! One bite and you'll crave candy until your teeth rot and brains! The Candylicious Apocalypse is here, and the undead have never been sweeter and more delicious. I honestly love how the mods turned out. Her torso is my favorite part, and I just love her pants. Even though this doll took much longer than expected and had many challenges and setbacks, it was worth it. She is definitely my new favorite, and I love her. And of course, she needs a name, so if you have an idea, please leave a comment. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Follow me on Instagram to see more. To be more part of my process, check out my community page for polls on doll ideas and sneak peeks of upcoming videos. And subscribe to catch future videos. Thank you for all the love and support. Have a creative day. See you soon. Bye!